Hey, hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tobias and on this channel I talk about music. And today it's my turn to talk about the upcoming RSD or Record Store Day of 2024. So Record Store Day, once upon a time, was invented to support the independent record stores around the globe, and it's still its mission. And I'm not going to go into the whole backstory of this. There's a lot of controversies around this. There's a lot of opinions floating around. Either you love it or hate it, it seems. So you can do a deep dive if you want into that one in different forums. And certainly go and visit the official Record Store Day site as well to get some of the backstory around this. And this year's releases, of course. So in the beginning, there was one Record Store Day a year. Since a couple of years ago, we had two Record Store Days. One big one, I would say, in the spring. This year it's in April, on the 20th of April. It's a Saturday. And then we get another one on Black Friday later on in the year. But this is a big one. It's usually the one that creates the most buzz around the list. And that list just been released a week or so ago. And I had time to go through it. And usually I don't find that many releases that excites me. But this year's list actually have quite a lot of gems in it that I'm really interested in. So we'll see what I manage to pick up, because that's just the thing. You have to arrive early to your independent record store, queue up for a couple of hours, meet some really nice people, hopefully, that you can chat through the night with, and and when they open the door, you just hope and pray that they will have a copy for you that you have checked off on your list. Oh yeah, and before I start this, I just want to say that all of the things that I'm going to talk about on this episode are said to be Record Store Day exclusive, which means they are only going to be available on that said day for the participating stores. And then they have something else called Record Store Day First, I think. And that usually means it's the first time they're going to be available, but at a later point they will be released by the record companies on a different colored vinyl. Packaging might differ or whatever. And then they have local exclusives and all of that. But all of the things that I'm going to talk about here are said to be Record Store Day exclusive. And a footnote on that one. On previous Record Store Days, I've been after a couple of records that I haven't been able to get my hands on. But at a later point, it turned out that some of these Record Store Day exclusives were released by the record companies. But like I said, we're in different packaging, perhaps on a different colored vinyl, things like that. So I have experienced that myself. So I'm not too sure how strict the different record companies are with this Record Store Day exclusive tag. Some of them are, of course, but some, yeah. So I just want to say that. But now let's crack on with the list. And first off this list is Soft Cell and an album, it's actually a double album, called Nonstop Extended Cabaret, which alludes to the debut album Nonstop Erotic Cafe. And this is said to contain some new mixes of some classic tracks like Tainted Love, you have CD Films, Sex Dwarf, Entertain Me, and I think Memorabilia was in there as well. And there's always a bit of a red flag for me when it says new mixes, because I tend to like, if possible, if there is an extended mix or remix done originally in the 80s, I would prefer those, and sometimes they weren't really good as well. But when it comes to new mixes, the reason for the red flag is that usually the remixes for these mixes tend to make them in what they think is an 80s way, sounding way, and it usually don't turn out really well. But like I said, it's just a red flag because I have experienced new mixes been done right to my ears. This is just my opinion, remember that. So that's why. But it does include the original 12-inch mix for Bedsitter, which is a great one. I actually brought it out for just this video. Here it is. Really, really good one. Great track, of course, but this extended one is really, really good. And the B-side on this original, Facility Girls, great, great track as well. So if you're like me, a bit hesitant about this Record Store Day release with Soft Cell, and you don't have this one in your collection, it's widely available still and not very expensive on the second-hand market. Go and grab this one instead if you're not really sure. And why not just pick up this one as well, the most famous one for them, Tainted Love or / Where Did Our Love Go? You get them both on this wonderful original 12-inch. Also widely available in second-hand stores. You can pick it up for basically nothing. That's at least my experience of those two. But yeah, you do get, like I said, the Bedsitter original 12 extended mix, and you also get the first single they ever released. It's called A Man Can Get Lost, which is a bit intriguing. So that's why it stays on my list, even if it's parked and coupled with a couple of red flags for those new mixes. But I'll just have to wait and see. Perhaps I'm completely wrong about these mixes and they're just wonderful because, like I said, it has happened with other artists that I listen to. So that's Soft Cell and Nonstop Extended Cabaret. And it's on a double album, if I didn't mention that one. Next one is Madness, because I'm a Madness fan. I'm going to mention this one. Is a 6-track 12-inch of Embarrassment. Yeah, the great single from 1980, also featured on the second album. Absolutely. Great track, and you won't get an extended mix or anything like that. It's just a normal 7-inch mix. But you do get another exclusive track, and that's the instrumental of said track, Embarrassment. So it's never been released before, so I'm glad they included an exclusive track on this one. Because the rest of the tracks, at least what I said from the track order here, is Not Home Today, Ernie, Crying Shame, and You Said. All of them taken from the second album, absolutely. All good tracks, but I already have them all, well, excluding the instrumental, of course, which was exclusive. I'm not that keen on instrumentals, so that's why this one is parked as well. We're not up to a really great start here. I parked the first two ones, right? But I wanted to mention this because it's Madness, and I do love myself a nice 12-inch. I like the format of the 12-inch. So that's why it's on my list. Now we're going to something that I'm really excited about. Here we go. Let's move forward to the present time. This is the Blessed Madonna, or as she is known as her given name, I think it is Maria Stamper. And the Blessed Madonna, my experience with her is from the wonderful Dua Lipa remix double album called, what's it called? Club Future Nostalgia, I think, yeah. Really, really good, and I really liked what the Blessed Madonna did on those on that collaboration. And she's mostly known as a remixer, someone who collaborated with a lot of mainly electronic artists. And yeah, what I've heard so far, I'm really intrigued. So this one is called the Have Mercy EP, and it contains 4 of her favorite tracks that she did for the last year or so. So yeah, really looking forward to the Blessed Madonna and Have Mercy EP. The next one, we're flung back to the days of punk, the late 70s. This is the Slits, and it's a double album called In the Beginning. This is a collection of live recordings, and they doesn't state if it's when they start. The earliest live recording, that is, because it says earlier recordings up until 1981. But still intrigued. I was introduced with the Slits from a good friend of mine just a couple of years ago, and I was sold straight away. I love the energy they had on their tracks, so I invested in, this is a debut album, right? The Slits Cut. Really good album, and like I said, I loved the energy they had on that album. So this one really intrigues me. In the Beginning, it's a double LP, 15 tracks live, like I said, and it does contain guests on a couple of these tracks from Nana Cherry, and Nina Hagen as well. So I'm really intrigued by this one. Really looking forward to this one. So I hope I get my hands on the Slits in the beginning. Next one is synth pop galore. We are talking Propaganda, the German band that signed with Sanctum Thumb in 1984, and their debut single, which was called Dr. Mabuse. And this time around, they compiled a lot of rare iterations of Dr. Mabuse on a 12-inch. It's presented on a red-colored vinyl, an opaque red one. It looks really good. And we don't have a full track listing, but they are teasing us with a unique 10-minute promo remix, only available, I assume, on a vinyl back in the day, and some other tracks that might just be have been available on a CD compilation that's out of print nowadays, and so forth and so on. It's those kind of things. So I don't think there's anything exclusive in a way that they unreleased tracks, so to speak, because that seems to be the trend when it comes to Sanctum Thumb artists for the last couple of record store days. We had a box set of Propaganda a couple of years ago. There was nothing unreleased really, but they compiled it from different recordings that are very hard to get today. So I do appreciate that. And they did the same with Art of Noise, and later, early on with Frankie Goes to Hollywood and so forth and so on. So I always appreciate those old Sanctum Thumb releases and making new covers for these and new names as well. This one is having a German name, Die 1000 Augen des Dr. Mabuse. You have to excuse my German there, or translated, The Thousand Eyes of Dr. Mabuse. That's what this one is called. So yeah, I also parked this one because I do have a lot of Propaganda in my record collection, and I do think I have most of these tracks, but that's just a guess because we don't have a complete track listing. So I'll just have to wait and see with this one. Continuing this list now with some 80s related stuff. And yeah, spoiler alert, there's going to be a lot of 80s related stuff on this list. It's just the way it is. Funboy Free, they are releasing a double LP with the Funboy Free, and it's all the 12-inch remixes compiled on these two LPs. And the Funboy Free, I got acquainted with them through Bananarama back in the day because they did have two collaborations with them, Really Saying Something and It Ain't What You Do, It's a Way That You Do It. Two great ones. And to be honest, I didn't delve any deeper into Funboy Free back in the day. I think it was in the later part of the 1980s that I got more acquainted with Funboy Free, when I did rediscover them, so to speak. And boy, they had some great songs. Of course, with the late great Terry Hall, Lionel and Neville, was it? All broken loose from the specials and forming the Funboy Free. And they did some really good songs with great success as well. And getting all the 12-inch mixes here on these ones really appeals to me, and we're certainly going to get those two aforementioned Bananarama collaborations as well on this one. So yeah, really looking forward to that one. And then we'll find ourselves back or forward to 1994 when Express 2 released Music Express and London Express. And I remember having London Express on a 12-inch back then. Love that track, and I don't know if it was what's it called, like a progressive. It wasn't really progressive house. It was a house electronica. Let's just call it electronica. I'm not really good with genres because it gets so muddled after a while. It starts out with something called techno, for example, and then it's all kinds of sub-genres around that. I'm not really good of doing that. But this is electronica, dance music, one of the great tracks of that year, Express 2, and to me London Express is the standout one, but we do get Music Express as well, both on original 12 mixes, so I'm really thankful for that one. And it's issued on a green vinyl, so that's definitely on my list. Okay, now on to, yeah, we're all over the place here now. Back to the early 2000s, and I'm talking about another favorite artist of mine, and that is Sophie Ellis Bextor. She had some success recently signing up with Universal Music, which I think is great. And because she's so popular now, they decided to release a store day exclusive record as well with Sophie. I'm really glad about that. This one is called Remixes, and they say in the statement it's comprised of some rare promo mixes from spanning from 2001 to 2006, which is her first 3 albums, really. And I know it comes on a double LP, so you can get a lot of tracks on that. But when we are talking remixes, they tend to be around 6 to 7 minutes, roughly around that time. And just to make a point out of this, I have quite a lot of Sophie Ellis Bextor in my record collection. This, for example, is Take Me Home. I believe this is one of the promos. Does include 4 mixes. All of them are really great. Here's another one, also taken from her first album. This is Get Over You. This is a double vinyl promo, and it contains a lot of good mixes. And then, of course, you have your standard Take Me Home maxi single. Another promo, and this time around for Take Me Home again, with even more unique remixes on it. And then you have Music Gets the Best of Me, with equally great mixes on them. And of course they have to include this one because it's such a popular track at the moment, but this is original Murder on the Dance Floor mixes. Also really great. And then we go into the second album, which had, I think this is promo as well, I Won't Change You. Some really good mixes on that one as well, and certainly the great Mixed Up World, and I think these mixes are well worth an inclusion on this RSD album. I just showed you these ones to make a point, because we haven't even come up to the third album, and I won't show those to you because along the way these were just like promo vinyls for DJs back in the day, but the normal CD single releases were there as well, and with some of them having other additional mixes as well. So I'm really curious what they're gonna include on this remix album by Sophie Ellis Bextor, because there's a lot to choose from. And even if I have a lot of them, I don't have all of them. There are some mixes that are still on my wanted list, and I really hope that we'll see some of those really rare tracks on this one. So I'm looking forward to a track listing of this one. Haven't been able to find one, unfortunately. And another thing that really puts this on my list is that it comes on a blue vinyl. And you would say, yeah, well, that's nothing weird, but I like a colored vinyl. But that's not the only thing. It comes on blue glittery vinyl, like a big disco ball, right? And yeah, I can just imagine. I don't have any glittery vinyl in my collection. I have a lot of different colors, but not glittery. So that's one of the reasons as well to look forward to this one. But most of all, I'm curious about the inclusions of the mixes here. What are they, and how many of them are we going to get? All of that. But that's good. That was Sophie Ellis Bextor and Remixes. Next one out is from 1982, so we're back in the 80s again. This is the first single from Prefab Sprout. They self-released this single on their own label, so to speak, back in 1982. It's called Lions in My Own Garden. It's a great track. They did greater things going forward, but I think this is a bit of a curiosity, and I really like Prefab Sprout, so this appeals to me. And it's going to be a 4-track 12-inch, this one, so you will get the first single on one side, I assume, both the A and the B side, and then on the other side you'll get the second single, which is called The Devil Has All the Best Tunes, and on the B side on that one was a track called Walk On. So you will get both the first one and the second single. So the first one was, like I said, a self-release single. The second one was actually picked up when they were picked up by Kitchenware Records. So yeah, really looking forward to that one. I don't own any of those singles. I think I started with Steve McQueen, the album they released. So that was my first Prefab Sprout album that I bought. But yeah, could always use some new Prefab Sprout in my collection. So that's another one I'm looking forward to. Okay, next one on the list is the late great Kirsty MacColl and her fourth studio album called Titanic Days. This one was released in 1994 on the Sanctum Tum label. And it's getting the vinyl treatment for the first time ever, because back in 1994 it was all about CDs, right? So this time around it's on green vinyl nonetheless. So I'm really looking forward to this one. A great album, and granted I'm biased because I'm a big Kirsty MacColl fan, but I truly think that if you're a bit curious about Kirsty MacColl, and this could be a really good gateway album, so to speak. If you don't start with the greatest hits one and you want to go for one of the albums, this could be a really great one, her fourth album. And it does contain what became somewhat a hit here in Europe, at least. It was with a track called Angel. And another notable track is, of course, Soho Square, which is included on this one, which has become very synonymous with Kirsty MacColl ever since her passing in 2001. Now, all around great tracks. So I'm really looking forward to have this one on vinyl. And like I said in the beginning, all of these are Record Store Day exclusive. But with this one, I have my doubts. Not the doubt that it will be released on Record Store Day on green vinyl and all that, but I think I have a feeling it's going to be widely available at a later point, because they are re-releasing a lot of the back catalogue at the moment. And now in March, for example, we are going to get the half-speed remasters of the album Kite and the album Electric Landlady. So really looking forward to those ones. And it would be a shame if you wouldn't be able to pick it up on Record Store Day and you're a Kirsty MacColl collector or fan, that you wouldn't be able to buy this one at a later point. Yeah, it would be a shame. So I really hope this is not a strictly limited RSD release. Kirsty MacColl. And now on to the last one on my list. This is Kim Wilde and a double album for Record Store Day that they call Special Disco Mixes. And I was really excited about this one when I heard about it. Because back in the day, in the early 80s, and that's where Kim released her first two albums at least, there was a lot of special disco remixes going on. I think it was the disco era spilling over into the 80s, basically. I have one of those special disco remixes of Blondie's Rapture in my collection, for example. So that's just one example. So I was thrilled. I was like, wow, they collected some of these rare mixes of Kim Wilde from back in the day, and they're putting them on a double LP. But that's not really the case, because then I started reading, and I'm going to read here the quote from the Record Store Day listing. 10 classics specially extended and reinvented in the spirit of the 80s. There goes my red flag again that I mentioned on the soft cell as well. So these are probably brand new mixes, and I do have a big red flag on that sentence, in the spirit of the 80s. Just do the remixes. If you would to hire the Blessed Madonna, like we talked about before, hey, do you want to remix Kim Wilde? Yeah, of course, she said. She's going to do it in the style of the Blessed Madonna, of course. And I would like that for every remixer, not have that mindset that, oh, this is an 80s artist, so we just need to do it in the style of the 80s. So that's where the red flags pop up for me. But just like with the soft cell one, I just have to wait if there's any samples online or anywhere beforehand, so you could get a listen, get a sense of what these mixes sound like. then I will make up my mind. But yeah, like I said, it's a double LP. It comes on glorious red vinyl, and I really hope that it is some really good mixes, despite my red flags for this one. That is my gems for this record store day, the 20th of April 2024. What are some of your favorites from that list? Have you read through the whole list? And like me, you might have missed something there. So this might not be the only episode that I do on Record Store Day releases. Who knows? Sometimes that list is updated when we come closer to the day itself. Or I just might have missed something. What are some of your favorites on this list? What are you looking forward to? Please put that in the comments. And as usual, if you like what I'm doing, please push that thumb up or the thumbs down if you don't like it. I'm just after your honest opinion here. Well, that's it. Until next time, you all take care of yourself, and as usual, adieu.